9.5 FM. President Ali, who never held a press conference 2 years since he took office on our oil, had an interview last
President
week
Ali,
with an
who never
American
held a press
journalist
conference
working
2
with
years
Al Jazeera
since he took
news
office
agency,
on our oil,
and told the reporter
had an interview
the
last
story
week
of Guyana
with an American
not about oil
journalist
and gas.
working with Al
It's about
Jazeera
food security,
news agency,
agriculture,
and told the
most
reporter
importantly,
the story
tourism.
of Guyana is not about oil and gas. It's about food security, agriculture, and most importantly, tourism. Please listen to him in his own words.
The story about Guyana is not oil and gas. We are a country that is rich in history. We are a country that will be, and mark my words, will be a leader in food security and agriculture. And importantly, we will be among the best ecotourism destination you can find.
Mark my words, guys. Mark my words. Guyana holds a third of all the oil found in the entire world for the last 8 years. And our president talking about bora, baji, rice, sugar, birds, and wild animals. That is food security and ecotourism for Guyana. God, please help this nation and help this nation quickly. We're in trouble. This is what, guys, I saw broadcasting to the entire world Saturday night on Al Jazeera TV. I had to pinch myself to ensure that I was not dreaming again and that somebody was not imitating President Ali's voice. Our oil is on every world leader's tongue day and night. Our oil is on all the stock exchange boards and markets. Our oil is on every international financial institutions, but not on Guyana's president's tongue or in his mind. Bora, baji, rice, sugar, birds, and wild animals is on his tongue. Really? Really? 56 years since independence, and we haven't planted or produced to supply we own homes, we own people, rice, sugar at a cheap and competitive price. Yet our president saying we will be the leader in food security and agriculture. Oh yeah? Really? Everything double. Agriculture is in a crisis. Sugar is on its deathbed. Rice farmers are complaining and consumers are bawling about the cost of food. Yet, Guyana, according to our president, will be the leader in food security for the world and the ecotourism. Not this $1 trillion oil sector. If that is President Ali's words and vision for Guyana, brothers and sisters, then mark my words. You are staring at a country that will become far worse than Haiti, Asia, and Africa. And your children will continue to faint in classrooms from hunger. God bless all of you for not sharing this video. Have a nice day. Guyanese, You're being taken for a ride of a lifetime with tricks and misinformation on this oil sector. The Vice President yesterday afternoon called an emergency press conference to tell this nation how he putting up 14 oil blocks for sale. He told us he wants 10% royalty, ring fencing, 50-50 profit share, insurance, signing bonus, and a 10% tax, among other things, from these new buyers. From the time people hear about this 10% royalty, messages keeps rolling into my phone. Thanks, Glenn Lall. If it wasn't for you, we would have never get a 10% increase of royalty. I just had to smile. It was this morning with a few phone calls thanking me about the same 10% made me realize that plenty people didn't get it. Now, let me explain this whole thing very simple for you people to understand. This here is the Suriname border. This here is the Venezuela border. This here is the Stabroek block with Exxon. This is 26,800 square kilometers. This here is the Kaieteur block. This here is a Kanji oil block. What he's selling is the block C, which is up here, block C, which is up here in the ultra deep waters that doesn't have oil, or if it have, maybe we don't know. And what he's selling is the rest here, a little portion of oil blocks here in the shallow. This here, these blocks have heavy oil that nobody wants. It's of no use these days. This, and this one is what holds all the oil Guyana has, almost 99% of the oil that sits out there, these three blocks have them in. The sweet crude, the crude with the money. Now, he announced 10%. Here he wants ring fencing, he wants insurance, and he wants everything from these people. But here, completely nada. Nothing. Had he gotten the 10% royalty increase in these three oil blocks, had he gotten the 10% taxes he wants out of these people, man, we would have been celebrating. We would have been celebrating Christmas starting today until we die. And our grandchildren's future would have set for their grandchildren. Instead, your children will continue to go to school without lunch kits. Hope I have made that clear. And if there's any question you have missing or lacking, you can let me know. I'll be speaking on this thing Monday night on my program. Please join me at 7:20 p.m. Guys, this is 2 mango trees your family get robbed on. When every 100 mangoes pick, 75 are being taken out for the investment and expenses that you had no say in or you didn't authorize. You had no say in and you didn't authorize. The 25 mangoes that remain is then split into 2. You get 12.5 mangoes and the other guy gets 12.5 mango. Out of his 12.5 mango, he take out 2 of his mangoes and give it to your family as royalty. And that cycle continues until the mango trees dry up or gone empty. However, when all is done and the picker didn't get back his full investment, yes, this is the trouble. Your family is left with that debt to be paid. This, in a nutshell, guys, is what is going on between Guyana and ExxonMobil with our oil. Now you tell me, if you would approve any other mango tree with this type of arrangement, you tell me that. Well, that is what Jagdeo and President Ali doing to Guyana presently, approving more and more oil projects with that same arrangement. You know, many African nations are presently working to pay oil companies' debts because of deals like that. Where do you think Guyana will end up? That is the future you're securing for your children and grandchildren, guys. Continue walking on your heads with your feet and hands and mouths closed. Guyana and ExxonMobil running a 50-50 business, and Guyana have no say in the investments and the expenses? Really? Really? And speeding up the process for more oil projects? Really? Jagdeo, is this for real? President Ali, really? Okay. I went to 4 African countries, and the horror of poverty, starvation, and sickness I saw there for myself. I hope and pray to God that you people never ever let that happen here. As I speak right now, thousands of our Guyanese don't know where their next meal is coming from. And that has been confirmed in today's Kaieteur news, where almost half of the children that go to school do not carry lunch because their parents do not have food to give them. On Diwali Day, while some of you were celebrating the Festival of Lights, oh my, yes, Omai was celebrating Christmas in October with their shareholders the same day. They announced to the world how they find $6 billion US in one of our gold fields in less than 9 months. $6 billion American dollars I'm talking about, guys, not Guyanese dollars. 6 billion American dollars is 2 times the total money Guyana owe to the whole world. Omai is set to walk away with that $6 billion, while half of our children in this country don't have lunch to take to school. Omai fetching out $6 billion US, and our leaders busy borrowing a couple million here and there to add to the existing $3 billion debt to buy medicine, patch some roads, and keep us going for another couple hours. Yes, that's what they're doing. $6 billion US coming out of our gold fields, and many of our people living with empty pots, empty plates, empty lunch kits, and added debts. Wait, something wrong with us? Is this why Bharat Jagdeo keep hiding these contracts from us? I just want to ask you what's going through your minds as I share this information with you. How can a country sitting with $3 billion debt, and one gold company finding $6 billion, and proud to tell the world about their find. Look, it's here. Look on the screen. Diwali morning, we reported it. You guys tell me if this is not a crime against a country and its people. And on top of this, Ashley Singh has the audacity to tell this nation that 3 more gold companies larger than Omai on their way to Guyana. I want you to listen to him, and please listen keenly what Guyana will be getting out of the 3 companies coming.
You know how significant Omai was. Contemplate for a moment 3 large-scale developments, each of which is larger than Omai. Consider for a moment that each one of these will probably be employing more than 1,000 Guyanese persons. Consider the food and other supplies that they will need, the transport services, the construction services, the equipment supply and maintenance services, and all of the multiplier benefits that 3 large-scale gold mining operations will generate in Guyana.
You heard this moron talking about a couple security guards, both captain and cook jobs that Guyanese will get. That is what we getting in exchange for our billions in gold. Did you hear him say anything about money for the Guyanese people? He deliberately left that out. You know why? Me and you naga use some money. Me and you naga mouth to eat. Only the gold people and their shareholders and he and his family got need for money and has mouths. Guyanese, isn't it time we put a full stop to this barefaced, broad daylight robbery and I pass involving our wealth, man? Huh? This is a message from Lall. Please share it. 2 times in 2 months, 2 British Prime Ministers were sent packing. Boris Johnson was the first one. He was forced to resign by his own MPs because he was not working in the best interests of the country and the British people. The woman who took over from him only lasted 6 weeks as Prime Minister. She too was sent packing by her own MPs for not doing what she had promised to do. Guys, the key point to note here is that in both cases, the 2 prime ministers was removed by their own party members. It had nothing to do with voting or elections. This is about holding leaders accountable. And if you can't do the job and do it correctly, then you have to vamoose, get out. Those are party people I love, putting their country and their citizens' future in front of prime ministers. That is not love for individuals. That is about what is good and what is right for the British people. Now, let's shift gear to our own country called Guyana. Vice President Jagdeo and President Ali promised to do all the right things with our oil wealth if they get back into office. What are they doing today? The opposite to what they promised. Jagdeo keeps on handing out more projects to Exxon for them to make more billions without getting a blind cent on that lopsided deal for this starving nation. He did not even corrected the faults and mistakes made in Liza 1 and 2. He keeps on approving new projects without even giving the Guyanese people a chance to learn and to understand the oil sector so that we can fit ourselves in there to make some money out of the oil. He himself admitted that we don't have the capacity to check and verify that 50 billion US dollars we have on those 4 projects as yet. But come December, he's going to give Exxon the 5th project. Wow. The 5th project. Lovely country, eh? This is how Guyana will become like Dubai. Wait, guys. You mean to God, we don't have some decent and God-fearing MPs in Parliament who can't raise their voices against Jagdeo and tell him to his face that he has gone too far? Huh? That he's destroying our future with his actions and that he must stop or get out? No, man. I refuse to believe that. And I also refuse to believe that you people can do the same whenever he come wrong, y'all. Shout out at him and tell him to change his ways and get it right or get out. You can do that. That's your right. Leaders are answerable to you. You stay on your fingers and elected them to manage, yes, to manage our wealth that must benefit us, not ExxonMobil and the foreigners. Come on, man. That wealth belongs to us. Look how your brothers and sisters living like dogs with all this wealth we have, man. You know, countries prosper with honest, trusted, decent and credible leaders. Countries fail when they have stubborn thieves, rogues and liars for leaders. It is time y'all decide what kind of leaders we have here and what kind of future lies ahead. Glenn Lall can only turn on the light switch for you. The rest is on you to walk the walk or talk the talk. A message from Glenn Lall. Please share it.
We swapping oil blocks for visa. The UK just announced that Guyanese can now travel without a visa to England, and the entire country, including social media commentators, jumping up for joy, as if the Guyanese people future set for life with that. This country has more wealth per person than England, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and even America. And instead, they make that their everyday conversation. They're busy talking about visa-free travel to England. You guys ever know anybody give away anything for free in this world you live in? Everything has a kickback. Some trick or some game there behind freeness. Never forget that. Hear this. Just after the announcement of the visa-free travel by the UK, our president announced a government-to-government partnership with our oil blocks. This is what we're bargaining for. Visa. Giving away our wealth, our country to England, while some of you get the opportunity to visit England visa-free. When and if you can afford a ticket. Yes. This is what our leaders barter for. Visa-free travel for we US $1 trillion oil blocks. Good going, guys. Good going. The coalition give away the whole Stabroek block and get 2%. Them this. President Ali giving away the oil blocks in exchange for visa. And then got the nerve to tell us, don't abuse the arrangement because it could harm his efforts at securing visa-free travel to other countries. Father, above, please help these people. Guyana, you're in more trouble now than any one of you could ever dream of. I had to pinch myself when I heard they waived the visa requirements and President Ali talking about government to government bartering of our oil blocks with these countries. Is this what Guyana has come to, man? Swapping US $1 trillion oil blocks for visa free? Really? Really? We living with hourly blackouts, drinking stink water, can barely patch some of the roads, can't eat a proper meal. Hospitals don't have medicines, and y'all jumping up for joy because you don't have to get a visa to go to England, man. Really? Really? It is so sad that the politicians of this country are still so much in love with these former slave masters that a visa will make them enslave the Guyanese all over again. They had enslaved our foreparents in chains back in the days and exploited the resources of this land. Today, you're not being enslaved and exploited in chains, but with visa-free travel in exchange for your oil blocks. Good going, eh? This is how they're selling out we country and all of us, like cheap W's of the street, all for their personal benefits. Is there a future ahead? I'm just asking. And I just want to tell you, evil never takes a holiday. It always on the job. This is a message from Glenn Lall. Please share it.
When Barajabi was asked by my reporter at a press conference if Exxon recovering that 2% royalties. Please listen to the answer he gave. Yes, the thing is that the lawyers have to do that. I don't want to venture public positions that I may have to walk back at some point in time, so I should be a bit more cautious on this. Because on other matters we've had some contention. I did GRE. Man, something that's simple and straightforward. Job you have to ask the lawyers about. To tell this nation if Exxon thieving back the 2% royalty we getting, man. You guys see the games and trickery this man is playing with your future and that of future generations. Now listen to the answer he gives to the same question 3 weeks later at another press conference. And now I can answer definitively because I thought I spoken to the GRE on the tax side. So because the acceptable, but it is.
Fellow citizens, this country has been getting free advice ever since we signed that Exxon contract in 2016 from well-informed people on how to change it to help the starving nation. The latest advice was from Dr. Vivian Williams, a Guyanese lawyer living in New York. He said that both governments misapplied the sanctity of contract doctrine to avoid acting in the nation's best interests, and explain what sanctity of contract means. He said, it is an agreement made freely, knowingly, and fairly by competent parties. You hear that, guys? An agreement made freely, knowingly, and fairly by competent parties. Only then the doctrine of sanctity of contract can be applied. Now, let's see how Trotman fits into those categories when he signed the 2016 contract. Trotman himself said he was instructed and directed to sign that contract. So was that contract signed freely? Definitely no. Did Trotman know anything about the oil industry other than Exxon said him find oil? Definitely, again, the answer is no. Is both parties receiving a fair share of this oil wealth through that contract? Absolutely no. Guyana is getting 2% royalty with a deceiving and deceitful 50-50 profit sharing arrangement. Only after 75% of the oil money are taken out up front, then the remaining 25% is split 12.5 and 12.5 between Guyana and ExxonMobil. So Exxon is walking away with 85.5%, while Guyana gets 14.5%. And out of that 14.5%, Guyana has to pay the oil companies taxes. Is that fair? Did Trotman and those who directed and instructed him to sign that contract competent enough at the time? Again, fellow citizens, absolutely no. So there we go. The contract was not made freely, knowingly and fairly by competent people. And our hands are not handcuffed. We are not chained to a concrete post. So what is stopping us from changing it? Another Guyanese, Vincent Adams, said when the contract was signed, it was based on 1 billion barrels of oil. From then to now, we have discovered 10 billion barrels more, which is 10 times more. So what are we waiting for, guys? Is this not enough reason to drag ExxonMobil back to the negotiating table? Isn't it time we nail a pail and stave in the heart of sanctity of contract and bury it in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? It doesn't exist. It doesn't apply. The agreement was not made freely, knowingly and fairly by competent people. It's a fraudulent contract and a heinous crime committed against the Guyanese people. Come on. Come on, guys. A man pressure you to sign a contract that only he knows all the ins and outs of what the deal means, in which he takes full advantage of you. How can that ever be free and fair? And why shouldn't we renegotiate it? We are not handcuffed to the contract. So what is preventing Jagdeo from calling for a change? As he himself knows very well, the contract didn't bind us for life. It has a clause that speaks of renegotiation. Why not use it? Why not jump on it? Uncle, your guess is as good as mine. This is a message from Glenn Lall. Please share it. Ghana in West Africa is a little larger than Guyana. that country had gold, diamond, bauxite, timber, and lithium in abundance, plus oil. Their corrupt politicians allow the foreign scavengers to eat and fetch out almost all of it over the past 4 decades. Half of their population of 36 million people is feeding their families with $200 and $400 Guyana dollars a day. You have to go there to see for yourself the level of poverty the majority of the Ghanaian people living under. Many of them can't find $2,000 and $3,000 Guyana dollars to pay their rent when the month comes. And when you drive through some parts of Ghana, you see signboards in Chinese writing. When you ask the driver about it, he said, boss, that's the Chinese to find their way back into their mining camps whenever they come out from the gold and diamond fields. The present government, after realizing that the country not getting the rightful share of the people's wealth, are now sending in the police and the army to drive them out. Guess what they found? Most of them already become citizens of Ghana, so you can't drive them anywhere. And when the army enters in the day to stop them from working, as soon as the back turn, they continue digging out the people gold and diamond and lithium in the nights. Hear that? Driving through the capital city one day, we put up with a long line of traffic. Driver said maybe it's an accident. When we reach up to the head of the line, I saw a group of men well dressed in uniform at the roadblock. They were not traffic cops. They weren't the regular police or army officers. No. They were GRA officers, Ghana Revenue Authority officers, stopping and demanding to see all the taxi drivers, their 3 months tax certificates, what they're supposed to have on them. And if they don't have it, they have to drive to the police station, the car is seized, and send them to pay their taxes before they can uplift their taxes. That is what Ghana has become with all the resources they had and still have today. Yes, the corrupt politicians grab on to a few millions from the foreign scavengers, and in turn, what they did? Give away the people's wealth, leaving them to pound beer cassava, making fufu to eat a meal when the day comes. That is what I witnessed for myself, fellow citizen. Everything I saw going on there in Ghana has begun to happen right here in this country called Guyana, with all these foreigners in our gold field, diamond, manganese, timber, and bauxite fields, and now our oil blocks. Please share this message. It's from Lall. We are in danger. TikTok, open your eyes and see. Open your mouths and ask questions. Our future is at stake and we are in great danger. The things you see on a daily basis in this oil sector in which we share 50-50 profits with the oil companies makes me wonder if the politicians here are senile, sick, or don't have any shame. Look at that steel frame behind me on the screen. It's a large 4-inch hollow section frame, weld together for use by the oil companies. A number of them do pass on those long container trucks ever so often in front of our eyes on the roads. Do you guys know where that frame was put together? It was put together overseas. When I asked the truck drivers who make them, they told me it came off the wharf from the ships. When they told me that, I nearly dropped dead. I just had to smile and tell the drivers to carry on. Fellow citizen, this is what ExxonMobil and Vice President Jagdeo doing to Guyana with local content. The Vice President allowing the oil companies them to create jobs for their people overseas, filling their pockets with our oil money to make a simple frame like that, when those frames can be done far cheaper locally by any one of our roadside welding shops, so that we local people can get a bite off our own oil money and at the same time create jobs for our people. What's going on with this 50-50 oil profit we got here, people? Huh? Tell me something. Let me tell you this. The money they're spending on freight alone for one piece of those frames, I am betting my last dollar that it can be done far cheaper and better right here by our local people. Can our Vice President tell us the cost of one? After all, every dollar spent is expenses. And may I ask, what else our Vice President is allowing Exxon to import at exorbitant prices into this country that we locals can't manufacture right here, that we don't know of? And is this how the Guyanese people will benefit from this $1 trillion oil sector in a 50-50 profit sharing business, guys? I'm just asking. Have a nice day and please share this video. This TikTok is for the ordinary man in the street. Your daddy make a lot of mistakes in which he get con on 2 mango tree in a your farm with a known gangster. The gangster find another fruitful mango tree. What do you expect your daddy to do? Not correct the mistakes made in 1 and 2 and secure a better deal from this 3rd mango tree, man? But if your daddy didn't correct the mistakes and get a better deal, then you gotta ask your daddy if he there with the man or if the man there with he. Not true? You can't know that your entire family get con from the first 2 mango trees and don't correct the 3rd one. Man, something is wrong. Definitely wrong. Then the gangster them find 4th mango tree in the farm, and your daddy still didn't correct the mistakes or get a better deal from this 4th mango tree. What's going on there, may I ask? Something wrong? Or something going on between your daddy and the gangster? Now the daddy going to allow the gangster to jump on the 5th mango tree without correcting or getting a better deal. Let me ask this, man. Would you as a family member allow him to approve this 5th project? You answer that question. This is what Barra Jagdeo is doing to every Guyanese in this oil sector. Lisa 1 and 2, they know we get con. And he promised to correct and secure better deals on every other projects. He went and approved Lisa 3, Lisa 4, without correcting the con or secure a better deal for the starving nation. Now, he's running ahead to approve the 5th project by year end. Y'all sitting down quiet? Continue. Your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will be left to suck salt. Don't open your mouths and your eyes. Please share this video. Have a nice day. Guyana, when will you wake up? Raphael Trotman signed a deal on 1 billion barrel of oil in Lisa 1 and 2. The whole world, including Vice President Jagdeo and President Ali, agrees that the contract is not good for Guyana, and they both promised better contract management and renegotiation when they get into power. Since then, Guyana has discovered 10 times more oil, and instead VP Jagdeo and President Ali call ExxonMobil back to the drawing board. They keep on approving more and more projects without correcting and getting a better deal. VP Jagdeo went ahead and approved Payara, the third project, and got not even a penny more for this nation. Jagdeo did not even correct the mistakes made in Liza 1 and 2 when he approved that third project. Months later, he went further and approved Yellowtail, the fourth oil project. And again, he got nothing, absolutely nothing, for the starving Guyanese out of that project. The mistakes made in Liza 1, 2, and 3 were not corrected in that fourth project. Not even the guarantee Exxon parent company promised in Liza 1, 2, and 3 to give us full liability coverage in the event of an oil spill was not secured in the fourth project he approved. Both projects, 20 billion American dollars, was without a proper and comprehensive export review. Again, he did not heed the advice of experts to install ring fencing provision to prevent ExxonMobil from taking advantage on us with US billions. He did not even get the oil companies to pay their taxes on the oil they're fetching away out this country. Something that every working Guyanese pays in this land. Now, he's gearing up to approve the fifth project, giving the oil companies the biggest Christmas gift they would have ever had in their lifetime. Brothers and sisters, having heard all of that, are you going to sit quiet and allow him to grant this fifth approval without correcting the mistakes and securing a better deal for all of us? This is a message from Glenn Lall.
TikTok, the old sugar factories them producing sugar far cheaper than the Skeldon plant. That same $200 million Skeldon plant that Jagdeo has as a white elephant there. JPL, GWI, they can't fix that for the last 30 years. The two most important things to mankind, water and light. They can't market and sell sugar and rice, the only two produce Guyana producing in this land. And them hustling with a $2 billion gas plant to sell gas. Could you believe this? They have done no financial feasibility study to show this nation whether it will be profitable or not. They have not held a press conference to answer any question from any one of us in this country whether that project is viable or not. Now, the three Chinese companies that bid to build the gas plant, only yesterday we found out that the three companies were blacklisted by the World Bank for falsifying documents, lie, and corrupt government officials all across this world. You see the kind of people our leaders hugging and keeping close to them? Corruptors, lies, and deceitful people. You gotta love this country
And you're going to love these politicians we have. Take that.
Please listen to Guyana's Vice President in Parliament in 2018 when he was the opposition leader.
At that time, we had a chance to renegotiate the contract to bring more benefits to Guyana. Mr. Speaker, that company walked in because they're very smart, big company. They look out for their shareholders. And so what they did, they walk in with their maximum demands. Our incompetent government trudged in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony.
Today, he's in charge of the oil sector. What is he doing to correct and renegotiate that contract he cussed down the coalition about? Nothing. But telling us that we have to abide by the sanctity of contract. We can't change nothing. This is the kind of two-faced, two-mouthed, two-tongued leaders we have in this country. Now listen to Trinidad Prime Minister Kaieteur Radio, what he had to say about renegotiation of contracts.
But there's a willingness not to treat contracts as cast in stone. That while contracts bind us to terms and conditions, if the conditions have changed so dramatically and so detrimentally, then the reopening and renegotiation of contracts is a reasonable demand of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we anticipate that our partners in this business will see our claim as a fair and just one. And we anticipate that there will be some reopening of contracts so that at the end of the day, we can all sustainably benefit from the God-given riches of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's a leader who cares and has love for his people and his country. Please share this information if you want something decent from your oil wealth.
TikTok. All our oil blocks worth billions of American dollars landed in people's hands for free. So they want us to believe. Global Witness, an international organization, said to the world Guyana left 55 billion American dollars on the negotiating table with ExxonMobil. And all Guyana walk away with is 2% stinking dirty royalty with a 50-50 partnership. We lost billions already, and we are set to lose billions more on a yearly basis because of the lack of ring-fencing provision. No independent, trustworthy experts were hired to review and audit all those $9 and $10 billion oil projects out there. Billions of barrels are going out and are set to go out this country without Guyana getting a single cent taxes. All Guyana also is at the mercy of God Almighty. We're full cover liability. Insurance is concerned, or protection is concerned, in the event of an oil spill. The only light Guyana has, the only light we are seeing out of this dark tunnel to get something for ourselves is to monitor the bills and expenses that the oil companies are throwing at us in that 50-50 partnership. The contract is very clear that Guyana has the right to demand on a monthly basis every single cent they spend, every bill they spend, and also projected cost on projects. We have that right to demand and see it, check and verify. Jack Dale, the man who's heading the sector, is telling Guyana that we don't have a co-management arrangement with ExxonMobil to monitor real-time these bills. The only thing we to make a dollar out, having lost all those things I spoke about, this man is telling me we can't check. We got to wait at the end of the year till all the bills are thrown at us, then to check. How are we going to monitor at the end of the year when we have the ability to do it on a monthly basis, guys? Huh? Say something, do something, please. Have a good day. Double whammy for Guyana. In 2016, the coalition signed a 2% contract. 2 years later, realized we have weak laws and system to manage the oil sector. They went and seek help from the IDB, collected 11.6 million loan to strengthen the laws and systems. The bank set out clear guidelines and recommendations how the money should be spent. They said Guyana needs a depletion policy, a development plan, a proper budgetary plan, a cost allocation law, and a robust accounting system. The coalition government left office and the PPP went in. They reached a depletion policy already prepared to be used. To date, that depletion policy has not been put to work, and we are still waiting for the other 4 recommendations. Guyana repaying that loan with interest and has nothing to show how the money was spent. Good going. A depletion policy that puts you in control of your oil, so you can decide how much and how fast you want the oil to be extracted, is tucked away somewhere, getting carbon. The development plan is supposed to be used by me and you to keep President Ali and Vice President Jagdev accountable as to how our oil money is being spent. The bank said the NRF law, passed in December, puts no cap on how much oil money flows into the budget at any given time. So there's no real way for we, the people of this country, to keep track where the money is being spent. So a proper budgetary system must be put in place so the people can have a say with the oil money. The IDB says also put clear guidelines and procedure for Exxon to follow is paramount in order to avoid constant conflict and difficulties with costs. So they urge Guyana to go above and beyond and put in place a cost allocation law, which would serve as a powerful tool for us. The bank said the pace at which the oil companies spending out there, set up a robust accounting system and put it to work to avoid being tricked and conned. The money gone and nothing in place. Take that. Ring fencing is 2 words. It's causing a lot of confusion and mix up with people. They're not getting it right. I wanted to explain that 2 words to you. It is extremely dangerous to Guyana with that oil operation that is going on out there. Ring fencing, without that provision, is like leaving your front gate, your front door, your wardrobe door wide open for the bandits to come in and do what they want to do. That is how dangerous ring fencing provision is. We're getting oil from Liza 1, in which we are sharing 50-50 profit. Now, what is happening is that ExxonMobil is drilling more and more holes, dry and wet holes. Each one of them is about $100 million. And then they throw it into the expense of Liza 1. What becomes of your profit? It dwindles. It shortens. It turns to nothing. Now, with ring fencing, when you put a fence there to block any other expenses that being thrown into this field, you get your rightful share. That is how important ring fencing is. Take, for instance, 2020 and 2021, Guyana get a bill for $407 million US, just for searching for oil. Anybody check that? Nobody. We don't know what they're doing. Without ring fencing, it gives the oil company them leverage, latitude to just spend on anything, anywhere and anyhow, and throw all the bill in the air. They thief, and they still give you a bill in this one shortening your profit. That is what ring fencing provision is all about. Is to protect your field, each field. No other cost must come in here. And this is what Guyana, we get 407 million in bills searching for oil in 2020 and 2021, man. And guess this whole country get, for the same 2 years, 607 million in profit. Come on, man. What is going on in this land? We have to ring fence these different oil fields. Each field must pay for itself, and you should get your rightful profit from each field. Nobody, and you have to monitor each expenses. That's how important ring fencing is, my friends. And that's how simple it is. Please share this video and listen to my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 on the Kaieteur Radio for more. The entire African continent with 1.3 billion people, they reported today that only 17 vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. Billions of US dollars going out the African continent on a daily basis, and they can't vaccine people. The dying was show that 5 million people died with COVID, but they believe it's over 15 million. You know where that 10 come from? Yes. You just think about it. Within the last 10 days, 3 companies, 3 foreign companies, one Canadian announced a mega gold find at Marudi Mountain. An American company, Bonasica in Esquivel, discovered a mega find with bauxite. And today, OMI announced a mega gold find again in we country. All 3 of them announcing to their shareholders overseas about their mega find of our wealth in our country. And our leaders, we ain't hearing a single word from them. Ashley Singh only come out and said 3 more bigger than OMI is coming in this country. Yes. And we have protests in this land. Our brothers and sisters have to protest to get an increase on that dark food salary they carry home when they want to come. This is Guyana. Money that the money that they're working for can't even pay the light bill, much as their rent. Can't put food on a children's table or biscuit in the children's lunch kit. This is Guyana. I love it. Thank you.
Fellow citizens, Guyana is at a point where we can make a great change without having to renegotiate or touch this one-sided oil contract. The Liza 1 permit is expiring on May 31st, and our politicians can use this golden opportunity to put a hold, fix and correct all the mistakes so that all Guyanese can have a great life. ExxonMobil had 5 years enjoying all the benefits of that permit in US dollars while they were throwing crumbs at us. Now, we are in a position to make all the changes we want, to really get back what we have lost out in the first 5 years of this permit. Will President Ali and the opposition leader Norton, along with the 65 MP, use this golden opportunity that is here staring us in our face to bring about that change? The international oil experts saying we need to use this as the bargaining chip to wring ExxonMobil neck to get what is rightfully ours. Will President Ali and the opposition leader Norton going to do that? Or will they renew it and allow ExxonMobil to sink this country and every one of us into further debts? Guyana
is at a crossroad. Come next week, our politicians can take us to heaven by choosing not to renew Lisa 1 permit unless and until changes are made that will finally benefit all the Guyanese people. Or they can renew the permit come next week Tuesday and allow ExxonMobil to send us all to hell. Please remember, both President Ali and Norton promised this nation to account more from the oil sector for the Guyanese people. Now the trump card presents itself to do so. Will they? Let's wait and see, brothers and sisters. The next move will tell all Guyana whether they have our interests at heart or Exxon and their shareholders. Come Tuesday, Guyana will know whether they will save us or sink us further. This is a message from Glenn.